Hi, I'm Ty, Head of Development here at RetailRight. Today I'm going to be running you through a demo of our software and all the features available to use. First, I'm just going to start off by creating an account. And then there are some optional questions at the bottom that give us a better idea of our customers so that we can develop and improve the app in ways that will most help them. I'm going to skip it in this instance. And that'll take you to the plans. So we got two plans right now, Store Pro and Online Pro, and then you can select the billing cycle to save some money, 5% for quarterly and 10% annually. I'm just going to continue with the free trial. And the free trial is 14-day and no card needed. So just like that, I'm ready to log in. And we have to verify our email real quick. Okay, and email verified. So when you first log in, you'll see a setup helper here with a list of things that need to be done before you can start to use the app. We'll start with stores. Gives a brief little explanation about stores. You can also click this to learn more and it'll take you to our help page. Our help page has more in-depth explanation of every piece of the application, as well as just some system requirements such as OS, browser, and other stuff on how to print. We'll get to that later. So I'll head back to our preferences and create our first store. Just gonna use a whole bunch of fake data here. And then receipt title is different from this name. This name is pretty much just the display name within our software, and this receipt title is what is going to show up at the top of your receipt when they print out. So I'm just going to keep it the same, but if you need to change it, you can go ahead and change it there. And this is the receipt footer. This will show up at the bottom of your receipt. So we have this in by default. You can either keep that or customize it. So there we go, we've created our first store. So if we go back to the scan screen, you'll see that we've crossed off stores and next classifications. So you can click here and then go ahead and continue with the process, but I want to explain something because it does get a little bit more complicated with classifications, and conditions, and discounts. So I'm going to quickly create a second store. Okay, now I have a second store. So if you hover over these, you'll see you have Edit Store and Edit Preference Options. So Edit Store will just take you to where you can edit everything we did to create a store. Same with this one. And then Edit Preference Options will take you one step deeper. So now you got classifications, conditions, and discounts under this test store. And if we go back and go into the other one, see this is under test store 2. But if you create them, so let me create one. We'll just go with the recommended electronics. Let's do no discount on that and no EBT, but it is taxed. Create that. So now we have an electronics classification under our test store. Now if I go back and go to test store 2, we also got the electronics. So the point of having these separated like this is, say, for electronics, say you had a store in one state and another store in another state, and for some reason they don't tax electronics in one of the states. So you can go ahead and remove the tax here and see it's going to ask if you want to apply this change to all your stores or just this one. So if you do all the stores, it's going to go into the other store, test store 1, and also change no tax for electronics. But we just want it in this one. So we'll go with just this one. And you'll see no tax here on electronics. And go back into test store 1, and it is still tax. So that's why we have those separated like that. And then you can have as many classifications you want, whatever you need. Common is like grocery and appliances, furniture, so on. We'll move on to conditions though. And actually for this, I'm just going to go ahead. We do have these defaults here if you want them. So I'll let you see what those look like for conditions. New, use, and damage. And that's of course going to go into the other store as well. So both our stores have all those conditions. And then discounts are completely optional. This is in the POS when you go to sell items. If you want to apply a discount to them or to the whole order, this is where you would define those. But you do need conditions and classifications in order to create items. Okay, so if we go back to the scan screen, you'll see that's gone. We can input a UPC here. But there are still a couple other preferences I want to go over first. So we got all our store stuff done. You got employees. So we've actually had people kind of ignore this feature and just create one account. And that creates some issues because actually when an item is created or when an item is sold or say a quantity is taken out, we actually log who did what. So if everyone's under one account, you're not going to be able to see who did what actually. So we do recommend if you have employees, you create a separate account for them. I'll just show you what that looks like real quick. Test user 2. And then you can just create a password. They can change it once they get in, so if you just want to create a basic password that you use for your employees and then have them change it to whatever they want when they get in, or if you just want them to use whatever you have, then you can do that. And then these are your permissions, so these are the tabs at the top basically. So if you don't want an employee to go into the POS or look at your reports, you can disable that here. So I'll go ahead and create this employee. Had to refresh my screen there, but you'll see our employee now exists right here, and it actually tells you whether or not they've verified their email. If an employee happens to get fired or quit, you can simply just click on their account and then click disable here and save changes, and they'll no longer be able to access the application. And then say for some reason they come back, you just turn it back on. So next, there is consigners. I think this needs a video on its own. We're going to skip this for now. Then you got your online site. So we'll come back to this as well. Then your POS settings. Okay, so hide sales in POS. We do display. So as you're making sales throughout the day, we will show you your total sales amount on your POS screen. So I guess if you aren't alright with your employees seeing that or whatever, you can go ahead and hide that here. And then we also have use RetailRight's payment processor. So we do have a payment processor for cards, and we can get you signed up with them. And if you do, you'd go ahead and check this in here and then enter the merchant ID. I'm gonna go ahead and grab mine real quick. Okay, grabbed my merchant ID, just toss that in there. It'll go ahead and verify that that's a valid ID with our processor, and then I'll save that. So I'm actually gonna uncheck the hide sales because I want to show what that looks like when we get around to the POS, and then I'll come back and do it just to show you what it's like when it's hidden. And then you just got the billing options. So if you're on a free trial and you want to go ahead and sign up, you can go into here and click a plan, and it'll ask you for your payment method. And all card transactions are done through Stripe. We don't keep any of your credit information on our servers, so it's safe. They're a huge company. So now technically we are set up to start creating items, but most likely you're going to want to print labels and receipts, so let's get that set up. So mine's already set up. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there is the required, this is like a software that we interact with to print, basically, QZ Tray. If you click on that, that'll take you to where you can download QZ Tray. And then this is the driver for our recommended and tested receipt printer. This is the printer that we developed on. And of course, if you need any more explanation, go and visit our help site again. So it'll let you know how to install QZ Tray, some links to our printers and their drivers, and then how to install the drivers. And then there'll also be a separate video on this that I'll link. And QZ Tray just pulls your printers from like your Windows printers. Like whatever would show up if you went to your Windows and your printer devices, this is the same list. So I'll select mine and let's go ahead and go to scan. So I have some Clorox wipes here that I'm going to go ahead and scan. Add from UPC, and that's going to go ahead and grab a whole bunch of data from the internet, just from different sites and such, for pricing and images and title and description like you see. And then select your pricing, and I guess I'm actually going to go and add some classifications real quick. So just for example, I'm going to add a cleaning classification, and let's throw a 10% discount on that. Create that, and then just for later, I want to have one of these. I'm going to create a grocery with 0 discount, and it is EBT. Alright, so let's go back and get this item processed. So enter my UPC again. Select my price. So you saw we put that 10% discount on cleaning. So when we select cleaning and then that, it's going to go ahead and take away 10% of the price for us. Now if you don't want that to happen, you can just go back and put 0% discount on cleaning, but I know we have users that price like that. So I'll go ahead and choose a store to throw some quantity into, and we are good to go. So click Save Item. It'll ask you if you want to print a label. If you don't need labels, just say no labels needed. And if you do, press yes. And also, if you don't want this to pop up every time and remember your answer, just click Don't Ask Again. So I'm going to click Don't Ask Again, click yes. That'll print me out a label. I'll pop that on the screen right now. And now we'll move on to Item Edit. So to edit an item, go ahead and click this Items tab. That'll show you your items. And click whatever item you want to edit. You can go ahead and search if needed. So actually for example purposes, I'm going to go ahead and go create another item real quick. Okay, I went and created some Fritos real quick. And just so you know, I did create this under the grocery classification, so that I can show the EBT example later. But let me show you just a quick example on search. So say this is a big all long list of items and you want to find your Clorox wipes. Just start searching Clorox, or maybe you want to start with wipes. It doesn't really matter, it'll pop up. Click that, and now you got all of the spots you can edit. So original price is actually not editable, but this is not display. This is literally just to show you where you got the price from and what you discounted from. So we started at $3.29. We added this cleaning classification, which had 10% discount, and put us at $2.96. This sale price is what will be put on your labels and is what will show up in your POS. Then if you got cost, you can put this in on the creation if you have it, or you can come in and put it in the edit. And if you need to change condition or classification, you can do that. And then the SKU and UPC is not editable. And then of course you can add quantity if needed. And then say an employee were to try and remove quantity, they would need to put a message for it. And also along with that, so let's just put testing and save that, and then go back in, and you see this view item history button will show you basically everything that's ever happened with this item, and it labels who did what. So me, the test user, added one quantity 3 minutes ago, and me, the test user, for testing purposes, also removed one quantity a few seconds ago. And then if you need to transfer quantity between stores, you can do that. I don't have, let me add some more back in here. Save. So if I want to transfer from my test store, I'll transfer 1 to test store 2. You're transferring one quantity from test store to test store 2. Confirm. And there you go. And you can actually view history, and you got that as well. So we transferred 1 quantity, transferred to test store 2, and on test store 2, we have a transfer of 1 from test store. Then if you need to print extra labels, you can do that right here. And that is basically everything with the edit. Of course, delete if you need to delete. Okay, so now I want to show you how the manifest works. So we have some users that get a manifest along with whatever items they're buying. If they're buying in pallets or whatever, you can download our import template here. It just gives you an Excel file with what columns we accept. So it has like price and title and such in there. Actually, let me pull up a file. Okay, so this is what our template looks like. The bold fields are the required fields. So currently only 2 required fields, which is a title and a price. And if you got your cost in there, a description, images. Images do need to be in one of these formats. So if you have multiple, you can put them in brackets like such and separate them with commas, or you can just keep entering them comma separated. Or if you only have one, you can just throw that one in there. So that's the only thing that kind of has to be input a certain way. The rest of these are just basic text. So I have one test ready to go. So what you do is you go ahead and select your file, and then a name you want associated with that. So I'm just going to put in a test manifest and upload the Excel file. Manifest items will begin to populate in the manifest tab. So just give it a refresh real quick. And select test manifest, and there you go. Manifest of items. So to create these into inventory, these technically aren't in inventory right now. This is just uploading items that need to be processed. And if you fill out that UPC field, it will help you out a ton. So you'll see right now. So if you select this first item, bam, it fills in that UPC and goes and grabs data on it, images, prices, and so on. And we also have this price from the manifest. So we have a manifest price found, and then we have pricing found. So you can stick with your manifest price, or you can go ahead and do one of these other ones if you want. And then just fill out the remaining fields. So in this case, we only have 3 things left to fill out. That's our classification, our condition, and where we have some quantity at. And then go ahead and save that. So that is creating an item from manifest. Next, I'm going to show you the product showcase. So to do that, you just click your name and website. So if you don't have a slug set up yet, it'll take you here so that you can assign what you want your URL extension to be. So we use RetailRight. Save that. Now it's successfully set site URL. Go back, just hit the same thing, and it'll open up a new tab. And you'll notice the RetailRight right there. That's how we identify the store or the user. And here's our items that we've created. You cannot sell on here yet. For now, it's just currently a showcase, but very soon we will have the ability to either sell it and ship it, or sell it for pickup. Oh, and we also have these filters. So it will show, this site is going to show any items that have quantity. And we just use your presets to filter. So currently everything we have is new. There's our grocery, there's our electronics, there's our cleaning. Okay, and now finally time to show the POS system. So I'm just going to go ahead and click one of these since I don't have the labels on hand, but there would be a label printed out, and you just scan it and it'll automatically put the SKU in there, or you can actually scan the original UPC of the product and it will also pop up. I'm gonna go test store, and since I'm set up as a payment partner on our payment processor, you need to create stations to use the POS. So if you weren't a payment partner and using our card processor, then you would just be able to use the POS from here, and whenever you do cards, you just manually enter it. But if you're a payment partner, this will pop up. Just go here. And this is again under these individual stores. And these ones don't duplicate over. So you go in this store, you got checkout stations here, checkout stations here. So let's create one real quick. Test station. And we pull these directly from our processor's database, and you can find this on the back of your processing unit under serial number. So once you've done that, go ahead and create the checkout station. There you go. If we go over to the other store, you'll have none. So the checkout stations are like store specific. Now we go back to the POS. There we go. We got our test station. Go ahead and click that. Here it is, test station. There's the serial number and its status. It's on standby. So I'll go ahead and enter that SKU that we copied for the Fritos. And then say you have items that you have not put into the system but you just sold. You can add a scratch item real quick. You can rename it if you'd like, but no need. We have this added item number 1 default, and as you go it'll be number 2 and so on. Input the price. I'm just gonna put 10 bucks, one ordered, and then it does require classification, but this does not do any of the discount pricing like it does in item creation, because we're assuming you just want to put in a price and sell it for that price at this point. You don't want to have these automatic discounts. So I'm just going to select cleaning, and then I'm going to go to card, and you'll see it's connecting to a terminal. My terminal is actually off, so I had to turn it on. Now it's connected, so it should go here. Connecting a terminal, there you go, that disappears. Now you just input the amount. You could do this partial, say like 10 bucks card and the rest on cash, but we're just going to do all card in this scenario. And check out. And then select your card type, credit or debit. Select credit, and it's now processing the transaction. So I'm going to switch over to my phone real quick. and you'll see the confirm amount. So you just go ahead and click the green button and insert card. And remove the card. And there you go, you have an approved transaction. And then back on the other screen, checkout complete, no change due, start a new order. And just take you right back. And then here's the today's sales. This is what I was talking about. We show the sales right on the spot. And if you want to hide that, so now I'm going to show you hiding it. Just go into your settings, POS, hide, save, and go back. And it's gone. So if you want to hide that from employees, or you were worried about customers seeing it or whatever, you can do that. Now I'm going to give a quick example of an EBT situation. So if you remember, we created this Fritos as a grocery. And if we go back into our preference real quick, edit preference options, and our grocery is marked as EBT. So let me grab this SKU, take it to my POS, scan it in, and actually hold on, I wanna show you something. So if we add a scratch item, just give this a random price, and anything that's not EBT, so I can show this, and you go to click EBT, this order is not eligible for EBT, please try cash or card. Alright, now let's add in a grocery. Alright, and EBT again, and there you go. So we have $2.49 eligible for EBT, and that's our grocery item, the Fritos. So just add your EBT into there, and then whatever for the remaining amount, and you're good to go. Alright, now let's move on to returns. So you can either click start a return here, or click returns up here. So you'll scan in the order ID at the bottom of the receipt. I forgot to mention the POS receipt. The POS prints out a receipt, of course, and I'll show a picture of that on the screen right now. And then you just scan the ID, press enter, and the order will pop up. So if you want the Fritos to go back into inventory, just click back into the inventory, and one. Continue and review, and then you'll see, so this is the refund amount, subtotal of the item, the tax of the item. This is how much is still due, and this is what we received on the purchase, so you know whether or not you've received card or whatever. So we're just going to give it back in card. Amount remaining goes to 0. Finalize return, and that will refund their card on the back end, and that prints out a receipt as well, which I'll show on the screen now. And that is returns. So now we're going to take a quick look at our recent orders. You can see all orders that have been made. We have this one we just made. Click on that, and it will show you basically just the history of it. So it even has this, that return we just did is included in this. It will show you the totals and how it was paid and so on. And then you can even start a return from here if you want. And last but not least, reports. So we got our daily sales report. You can select the store. So this is like you would do at the end of the day, just to tally everything up or whatever. Shows you the totals here. If you want to see the details, you can click on that, hide them again, and then our return that we did, you can hide that again. So you got a total of one item sold and a total of $10.75 for that item. And then you have your sales report, last 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, month to date, and last month. And then you can do a custom. So we'll just do this, we got all our sales for the day. And that's one sale, one return. And you can download Excel reports for all of these as well, and it'll basically just show the same thing. And then inventory is actually a Excel report only, so I'll just do that. Processing will note if there it goes. Done again. I'm gonna click it again and save it. Order report. Let's open that up. And this is what that looks like. So you got a UPC field, the price, cost, and the total quantity. So we got our Clorox, we got our Fritos, and we got our espresso machine with their SKUs and their UPCs, price, cost, quantity. And we are about to have a QuickBooks integration done, but that will be a whole separate video. That'll be linked in the description here or on the screen now. And then there are a couple small things that I just wanted to share that might help you out. In the bottom right here, you might have noticed this. You can click this, and it'll actually hook you right into chat. And I will see these, and I'm able to respond as soon as I can. So if you need any help or you want to do any suggestions, just open this up, send me a message, and I will respond. And then you got click your name, you got help center here, and this is the same help page you've seen a couple times now. Just click it real quick, and yeah, you can read through here if you need help with stuff. We also have a bunch of videos to help you out as well. And then there is just this little bit up here, click if you want to see the updates and what each version means. So this is just let you know what the format means. So X is used internally, no need to pay attention to this number. It will remain 3 for the foreseeable future. This is just basically what version of the software we're on. This is our third big version, I guess you could call it. Y represents large app updates and new feature updates, and then Z is just bug fixes and hot fixes. So the most important ones will be these, the ones that end in 0. These will be big changes. But yeah, if you want more information on what updates are coming out, you can look there. And that is just about it. I hope this demo gave you a good idea of how our software can help your business, and we look forward to working with you in the future. If you are looking for more information or are looking to sign up with us, please visit tryretailright.com.